Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Group Chat. It is a very special Super Bowl warm-up extravaganza. And actually, we're going to talk about why this is the worst Super Bowl in history for the Murthy brothers.
Oh, no.
Complete disaster.
Super Bowl is one of your guys' favorite, I would say top 3 weekends or events of the entire year. You've been to everyone since 2001, and this one's a disaster.
Not that many.
And this one's a disaster. So we got to talk about it.
Yep.
Also, we have some more earnings news that I think, there's some good news, some bad news, some stuff we should definitely talk about. Big day for Snoop Dogg. Big weekend for Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And then, and then we'll talk some inflation. Turns out it's real. And then we have an interview. Who are we interviewing?
My good friend Lynn Dye. I've actually known him since I was in college, so well over 20 years, who now is the CEO and founder of a pretty fast-growing NFT platform called OneOf. And he just so happened to be here for the Super Bowl. So we started to chat, and I put a mic in front of him.
Nice. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to end with winners, losers, and content recommendations. Everybody ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Who day?
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey, guys.
Who day?
Who day?
Spelling isn't big in Ohio, right? Because day is spelled D-E-Y.
That's
No,
right.
That's how you spell it. It's day, damn.
Who day gonna beat them Bengals?
Yeah.
And the response is nobody.
Yeah. Especially.
I mean,
not the
for the last,
Rams.
20 years, seemed like everybody.
30 years.
Yeah, here's the thing in Ohio. We have very bad short-term memory. So, I don't know. I don't remember the last time we lost, actually.
Where did you get that Bengals shirt?
What's funny is I actually got it from one of our vendors who is also from Ohio.
Oh.
And he sent it to me as a gift.
Wow. Is it like a Super Bowl edition shirt?
It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's a Fanatics, stock.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But it's pretty good. I mean, the fact that it has the Ohio outline.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hyped.
So what's the vibe? Like cousin Gary, your parents, what's going on back home?
I got to check in. I don't know. Here's the thing. I got to be honest. Like Cincinnati so far, it's like over 3 hours from where I'm from. So
Driving.
It's not like
3 hours driving? Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like I really remember like a lot of Cincinnati love growing up. I'm sure they'll take it. But like if the Browns would have made it, that would have been my hope. If the Browns would have made it, cousin Gary, the family, everyone's fired up.
I gotta imagine the Midwest wants to beat the Rams so badly. The liberal coastal elites that thumb their nose at everyone.
I know, they're terrible.
Got the hardworking folks of Cincinnati.
Hate them. They forget about us small town people. And it's just ridiculous. Out there on the coast with your liberal ideologies, still wearing your mask like a bunch of pussies.
That 80-degree weather, that beach.
Softies, you don't know nothing. I'm guessing that they want them to destroy them, especially because like Joe Burrow, is an Ohio guy. Nobody thought they would make it. It's kind of a look. I'm not one to speak on the talent, the skills of the actual team, but it's a little bit of a David Goliath thing, little Ohio versus big LA at their home territory.
Yeah, and it's actually it is that because you have Stan Kroenke, who's worth billions and billions and billions of dollars, tens of billions, and he's married to Walton, which is the Walmart family,
she's worth like $50 billion.
And the Cincinnati team is notoriously doesn't have a budget for anything, like scouts, anything.
When they ask for money, can we sign Joe Burrow? They'll go, who dey?
I mean, I heard on a podcast they're
probably going to give that money.
Who they gonna write that check?
I heard on a podcast they were like joking, like the Bengals are probably put up in Chatsworth because they don't have the budget to stay out here.
Yeah, I saw a video that was actually kind of alarming to me where they were walking like into the practice or into the hotel and like they, there's like the superstition that you don't split a pole.
Yeah.
When you're walking with a group and like they all like started to split the pole and then ran back around so the team didn't split the pole. If that's what you're relying on, Ohio, we might be fucked.
I think they're practicing at UCLA, so at least they got some nice facilities.
A lot of poles.
Well, yeah.
So what do you guys, have you guys been to any events yet? Like what's on the docket?
No, I haven't done anything yet. And, normally this is a very exciting weekend, and I'm sure I'll go out, but like I can't stay out late because I have to wake up.
I mean, I will say
screwed.
the LA Super Bowl is the biggest bust for me and D.
Yeah,
That's funny, man, because you would think it would be the dream scenario. And it's
like
just not.
honestly, like if it was Thursday of a Super Bowl weekend and we were in Dallas,
You're long
we'd
gone.
be partying.
You're drunk by a pool somewhere, like
We'd be at
Samsung event.
yeah, exactly. We'd literally be at a Samsung event and then going to an EA Sports event and then going to a Maxim event. And instead, we're recording a podcast and we each have 2 kids to take care of.
Yeah, what a bummer, man. So, because you guys just couldn't, there's no like negotiating a special deal.
Like a truce.
Like the weekend is still the weekend.
We were joking.
My truce was that I get to go to the game and like basically be gone all day.
Wow.
Amanda normally is part of the weekend too, but when you're home and there's 2 kids like miles away, you can't justify like.
That's funny. So what are you guys gonna do? Like, are you gonna go to you're obviously gonna go to the Bieber and the Drake, or?
Yeah, I mean, those things are definitely looking forward to going, but it'll probably have to be early nights. Like I might not be able to see them.
Wow.
They'll be I don't know what time they're gonna go on.
Why don't you head down
late.
to like the convention center or whatever and throw some footballs into some nets at the NFL experience, just so you get the vibe.
That's what I need to do. Like maybe I'm thinking Saturday afternoon to take Dominic and like make it an activity.
Yeah, that'd
That's
be
good.
fun.
I will
Prep
say
him for the future.
it's very similar when we went to New York City for the Super Bowl. I don't know how many years ago that was, but it didn't feel like the Super Bowl was there. And
It's just
I think
like another event.
LA is the exact same. It doesn't. We've been to like every town for these Super Bowls, and it's LA and New York. You didn't feel like the Super Bowl was there. I mean, it's Thursday of Super Bowl week. I see zero energy. I was just downtown. I had to do some stuff down there, and I went over to like where the Staples Center area is. They have it all blocked off for Super Bowl stuff. Complete ghost town.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
There's no like increased traffic over by the office or nothing?
No, and I asked some cops. I was in line for food, and I was like, "Hey, has it been busy down here?" They're like, "Nope, no one's here."
What the fuck?
He said,
That's
"Maybe."
just because it's just not that exciting, you think?
I think it's because it's the Rams.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a visiting team.
Yeah.
You don't have this new energy. Like the Rams have been playing in LA for 3 straight weeks.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
you
I'm sure
live in,
YG's excited.
I'm sure YG's
He's always
excited.
there front and center.
But I think the Super Bowl can't be in LA or New York City. I don't feel the vibe. We've been
It
to
should
10
just be
Super
in New York
Bowls.
every year. I'm sorry, it should be in Miami every year.
Scottsdale was fun. You were at Scottsdale.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was great.
Next year, Scottsdale.
Okay, so we can pick 3 cities. Maybe you go Dallas, Scottsdale, Miami.
I'm fine with that. Don't move
Rotate.
it from any of those 3.
Like our office is in the pretty heart of the city. I just walked to lunch. No one at the restaurant. I walked down the street. No one on the street.
That's so weird. I really expected, like, also for all of our listeners who aren't here, it's 89 degrees, and I just thought, like, all right, here it comes. Like, here comes the warmth and the energy and the vents, but it's a little crickety. I'm looking out my window.
I think that people Friday, Saturday, like during, like I want to see like people wearing football jerseys.
Yeah, I want to see people wearing their jerseys, not realizing LA's not open container with a tall margarita. That's what I want to see.
Down at Saddle Ranch, like, is that popping? That's where all the tall margaritas are.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good. I might stop by Saddle Ranch tonight.
Yeah,
I think
might
Dan
be
Portnoy is doing live podcasts all week from there.
Really?
in the parking lot.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think he did like a Bryce Hall live in the parking lot podcast at Saddle Ranch.
I wonder if like that's a draw in West Hollywood. Like, does anyone care?
It's probably empty. I noticed they didn't show any crowd shots.
Yeah, I mean, if Dave Portnoy was in,
anywhere
Denver,
else
it'd probably be packed.
Other than for the H-Wood events, I have not gotten one text from a friend in LA about the Super Bowl. Meaning like, oh, what are you doing? Da-da-da.
This is a bummer.
This is a total bust. I'm so like not happy because this is like one of the most like fun weekends of the year, and LA fucked us.
It's like literally if they moved Coachella to the convention center.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so what about the game day? Are you guys going to the game?
We are going to the game.
You're locked in.
We're locked in. We're gonna go. I think the plan is 11:45 in the morning.
11:30.
11:30.
Games at 3:30.
Games at 3:30.
So you go like warm up, hang out.
You gotta stretch out.
Stretch. Get your voice loose.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a long ass day.
And then so the game's at 3:30. How long are football games? 2 hours?
No, this will be end at 7:30 because of the
Okay, so you
commercials
guys are
and
home at
halftime.
fucking
10
1
o'clock. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if the Rams win, we're gonna stay and want to see the trophy ceremony and this and that.
Then if we have the energy, we know Delilah is going to be out of this world on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So you have a 15-hour day.
15 hours. 15 hours.
Got it.
I'm like a longshoreman doing Christmas.
Got it.
You're like at the ports, what we need.
Yeah, he's not like at the ports. That's a no-hour day. Oh, man. Okay. Ready for some news?
Yes.
Let's keep talking about earnings. All things earnings and stock market have been pretty entertaining lately.
Yeah.
Stock market in the last few hours just got creamed.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, but I think the big standout. I mean, we talked about Apple, which obviously had incredible numbers during earnings, but the big standout this week is Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, they just popped straight up after that earnings call. What happened? Is this because parks are back up and running? Is this streaming numbers? Like, what's so optimistic on that earnings call?
So definitely we'll get into the streaming part because those numbers are great. The parks business had an operating profit of $2.45 billion this last quarter.
Just in the quarter.
Just in the quarter.
Jesus.
Oh my God. And that is, I mean, that's Q4, which it's not like COVID was COVID was still lingering around.
I mean, Omicron was hotter than ever in Q4.
Not to the Disney crowd.
Not to the Disney
November,
crowd.
Thanksgiving to New Year's, which I would assume is a pretty busy time for Disney, Omicron was just hotter than ever. I mean, we all got it.
Yeah.
Well, Mickey didn't.
So what's going to happen this summer? I feel like this summer Disney's going to be like $6 billion a quarter.
By the way, in that quarter, only halfway through did they even allow international travel. Like mid-November is when international folks started showing up back to America.
Yeah.
And so, they only got the benefit of 45 days of international incoming traffic. By the time the summer comes around, once all Asian countries start coming back to America, forget it. That the parks are going to print money. By the way, I had no idea the price of tickets, Disney, nothing.
What is it?
So I'll give you an example. My wife wants to take our oldest to Disneyland, and so we decided that we're going to do a pre-run at California Adventure. Mm-hmm. Which is the park right next door. For the three of us to go was $350, which is California Adventure.
That's why you have $2.4 billion of profit.
What adventure is happening here for $350?
Are you sure there are even rides he can do?
No, it's not. It's not even. It's just the hoopla. What is he going to last there? 45 minutes. Besides school, after an hour, no matter where we go, this kid is wrapping shit up.
We're trying to take Mav to Disneyland.
Sounds like a bad idea.
I wonder. Do you
I don't
think
even
everyone,
know. I was telling my wife, I'm like, he doesn't even know what it is. Why the fuck are we telling him? He has no idea. They're like, oh, kids in school are talking about it. I'm like, he still doesn't know what it is.
You got to get to like 8.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, I think. Do you think that like everyone just like has been canceling and waiting to schedule their Disney trip for the last 2 years?
Yeah, I'm sure the demand for Disney, because think about it, like there's like some delusional thing with parents that they have to take their kids to Disneyland like as soon as they're born. Like, there's so many people. Your baby has to have ears on in front of the stupid castle, and you got to take that picture.
Oh, you're not a good parent.
Yeah, you're not a good parent.
It's like the good parent picture.
It's a good parent picture, but like you're actually a bad parent, in my opinion. Baby shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Also,
How
I mean,
young?
at that age, you just like buy a Mickey Mouse costume, decorate your house, and there's Disneyland. It's all the same.
That's my point. They have literally no idea. I could take him to Saddle Ranch and say that's Disneyland.
Bryce Hall's Mickey Mouse.
Dave Portnoy is Minnie.
Dave Portnoy is Minnie.
Is Goofy.
Goofy, yeah, exactly. It means nothing. They doesn't like. He watches Disney movies, and even if a kid at school said, "Oh, have you been to Disneyland?" He's gonna say, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
So you think he just has FOMO?
Yeah. No, he doesn't.
You're putting FOMO on him.
Yes.
You should take him to Anna's house and tell him the whole time over there it's called Disneyland.
I mean, the backyard is Disneyland for
and
him.
He'll be like,
so
I go to Disneyland all the time.
I go once a week. I
go once a week. I
have
actually
a
know
season pass. I have a season pass.
I know the owner. I know Walt. And it's a season pass.
But yeah, Disney's earnings, Blockbuster, and then...
And I was just reading that 20% of, at least in the Florida park, is international visitors that are 0 right now.
Wow.
So imagine when international travel...
Oh, it's going to explode. I mean, if you're coming...
Explode.
Yeah, think about how many people have had children that have been dying to want to go to Disney. Dude, oh
yeah, I feel like it's going to be if COVID holds off, it's a monster spring summer for Disney this year.
What's interesting? So I have a close friend in Hong Kong that I was when I went to college with. I was speaking with him yesterday. Full blown lockdown. 6 p.m. curfew. Before 6 p.m., you can walk with one other person. They have to be 1.5 meters apart. I don't even know what meters to feet is, but it seems like not very close. And he said it's a complete disaster. And this is as of Monday. They started this. So Hong Kong, which is now controlled by China, is on full, like he said it's March 2020 in Hong Kong right now.
Wow.
So Hong Kong is where their other park is, right?
Yeah, they have a park there.
And Shanghai Disney, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Is there one in Hong Kong?
So that means
I thought
they're
there
not
was.
even.
I don't think so.
Is it Shanghai or is it Hong Kong? It might be Shanghai.
There's a Shanghai for sure.
Okay.
But they're not even counting that revenue, and they're still crushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, even Shanghai. It's not like Shanghai's full, or even.
There's no way.
But that's what's crazy. Like, I think for the most part, even the most liberal people are over COVID now.
They go to Disneyland?
They'll go to Disneyland. But Asia's not like that.
No.
Asia's like still very, very strict. They have this like 0 COVID thing, and I don't know when they're going to open.
Never. They may never open.
They may never open.
It's in the government's interest never to open. They love to control the people, and this is perfect. Scare them into the oblivion.
Yeah.
You wonder what I read about the other day, though, is like we're really benefiting from them being this way in the sense of we don't have these continuous like lockdown reopenings, that are shutting down all of our manufacturing.
Yeah.
We have plenty of other problems, but they're able to just sustain at this like level where at least you don't get a call that's like, hey, our warehouse is shut down. We had an outbreak.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if they're going for the 0 tolerance COVID infection thing, it's just not possible.
No, it's definitely not.
It's not possible.
But I think that's
But
a
they
lot
have
of
the
Asian countries.
Olympics. You're telling me the Olympics right now aren't just Miami, Florida?
No, there's no
Super spreader?
fans.
You don't think even all those athletes from all these different places, you think they're able to control that?
I bet you they're testing so aggressive. That place is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just telling my friend in Hong Kong, I was like, I'll probably never go again.
You've never been to mainland though?
I've never been to mainland. I don't even think I'll go to Hong Kong.
Yeah, probably no reason to ever go there.
I know I actually have a lot of FOMO on that. The biggest country in the world. I never visited and I never will.
Well,
don't worry.
They're going to own us soon, so you'll get free.
So maybe this is China?
Free tickets.
You're just going to a different state at that point.
Yeah. Where are you going this weekend? China? Okay.
Yeah. What about streaming? Was streaming also good, or was that all powered by parks?
No, streaming's booming. They added another 30 million subscribers on the streaming side. I mean, yeah, and I think we talked about this when they launched the streaming platform. They're in such a unique position to be a big time streaming winner, because if you look at content, what do people really, really like is just the heritage assets, and they just have them. They have Marvel, they have Star Wars, they have the library of Disney movies that people are going to watch for eternity. They believe that they can get to 260 million, 230 to 260 million total paid subscribers for Disney Plus by the end of 2024. Which is
what do they have now?
129.
Yeah, that's where an IP matters. I saw I don't watch Star Wars, but everyone was going nuts over this Obi-Wan Kenobi that they're releasing in the spring.
I just can't believe people still watch Star Wars. Jesus Christ.
Diehards.
Grow up. Jesus Christ.
There's probably a bunch of 40-year-olds, like a
40-year-olds older.
No, but there's a foursome right now at Disneyland, all 40s, no kids, just enjoying the shit out of the Star Wars themed part of the park.
Someone needs to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, I mean, they should be banned.
Cool. Send Chris Hansen in there.
Yeah.
But that's true. That's just how they are.
You're right. You're totally right. And there's like people older than that just obsess and probably make like YouTube videos all day, that aren't popular about. Yeah. Like, can you believe that the new Obi-Wan Kenobi is not?
It's like Comic-Con, that scene from Entourage, where they all got riled up because Vince wasn't like the right fit for the.
There's another one. Is this Bobo whatever? Is that a Star Wars? Boba Fett or whatever?
Asking the wrong group.
Isn't that like a T with like
But I saw a bunch of signs all over town in December. Boba something. Fett. Yeah, Boba Fett.
Yeah,
it looks like a Star Wars.
It's probably the biggest cult following thing that I have zero interest in.
Anything that has a cult following outside of sports, I have zero interest in.
Yeah.
Meaning like any
Running.
IP that has a cult?
Yeah, running. I like running. Yeah, that's true.
But Batman.
Like Pokemon.
Batman has a cult.
Yeah.
I like Batman.
What do you know about Batman? You don't know anything about him.
I watched
Did you watch
movies.
Zendaya? Or that's Spider-Man, huh?
Yeah, that's Spider-Man.
You don't even know all the
Zoe
actors
Kravitz,
who
Catwoman?
played Batman.
I didn't say I'm a historian. I said I enjoy the movies.
Of course, I like The Dark Knight. Sure,
Do you
whatever.
go watch them in theaters when they come out?
For sure, always.
No Batman's come out in a while, right?
No, there's one coming out.
Who's Batman?
Robert Pattinson.
Who's that?
Oh, he's right. Yeah.
He's famous. What's he from?
Twilight.
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 That's right.
Isn't Zoe Kravitz in one of those?
Yeah,
Isn't
I think she's Catwoman.
Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. See, I'm in the know.
What about Bobo Fett?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
We're not sure if that exists. We don't know what billboards you're seeing, but
Maybe it is for the iced tea. I don't
it's
know.
a new tea shop, and you're like, that must be a new Star Wars. Yeah. Well, look, they definitely have IP covered to the max. I feel like this year, those park numbers have to just look insane.
Yeah,
But, we've always said, don't fuck with the mouse. I mean, we've stayed true.
And by the way, like the great thing about the way they price the parks, it's obviously higher prices on weekends and holidays. I never understood why doesn't every business do dynamic pricing?
What is it? What do they do?
Meaning it's cheaper on like a Tuesday than a Saturday?
Like during the week, Monday through Thursday, it's a certain price. If it's a long weekend, if it's a regular weekend, the price is up 30-40%. Restaurants should do the same.
For sure.
Like if you want to go to any restaurant on Friday, Saturday night that's busy, why not charge 30% more? There's clearly demand. If Disneyland raised all their prices by 10% tomorrow, no one's batting an eye because most people only go to Disneyland once in their life.
Hopefully.
Didn't you go to Disneyland the last 3 years?
Yeah, sure did. I actually went twice. I went in the last 3 years. I've been twice. Yeah. Yeah. But it wasn't, it wasn't for me. It was for other people. But I also, not to, whatever, be that guy. But like, there's like a full, like, experience where a guide like walks you through the whole park, and that's much more tolerable than going. Even if you have a fast pass, it's way different. But I always went like with a group. I was a part of a group that wanted to go, as opposed to, you don't catch me running around saying, "Is it Disney weekend yet?"
Yeah.
Where's
Boba Fett?
Goofy.
What's
Boba Fett?
The Frozen character, Elise?
Elsa.
Were you lining up for photos with Elsa when you went?
Yeah, I couldn't help it.
No, but I know you did the rich guy thing. Does the guide get you pictures in front of all the other kids?
They just shove the other little kids. Elsa, get your ass over here.
Question.
Take a picture with Johnny and Mary right now.
Hey, I mean, for as expensive as it is, I would hope so, but I don't think anyone in the group asked for pictures.
What's funny is maybe they just line up all the characters in a row and be like, "All right, Johnny and Mary, go take a picture." All these.
No, because the lines for the pictures with the characters are hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You should be able to skip that. Fuck those kids. Dynamic pricing, babe.
Yeah. I'll pay also 100 for this picture.
10x. I'm skipping this shit.
Capitalism works at its finest.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll check. If I go again, I'll try that out.
Just go, be like, I have my guide. I want a picture with Elsa.
Right now. Okay, what about back to earnings? What about Affirm? Affirm sort of went the other way of Disney. Affirm is the online buy now, pay later, thing. What happened there? Well, they're going to pay later?
Yeah, they're going to pay you earnings later. Well, the first mistake that happened is they mistakenly announced their earnings on Twitter.
How does that happen?
And they were bad?
Yeah.
Like I could see like, oh, they're so good. I don't know. But like you leaked your own bad earnings.
Well, here's what happened. Their revenue beat the expectations. Their loss widened. It's just more of like, how does this information leak before it's supposed to? It's pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah, who's got
that feels like someone.
Who's the Donald Trump there with the Twitter fingers? Like, I got to get this out.
Who's the big mail over it at Affirm? That feels malicious. I mean, what was the context? Was it like a link that they tweeted on accident or something?
Yeah, no, it's more of just a tweet saying, we are proud to announce blah, blah, blah. It's kind of wild.
Well, that was a fuck up. So revenue was up, but what was down? They just spent too much money.
Losing more money than expected. And, Affirm was the most closely tied to Peloton. Like a lot of Affirm's growth was Peloton.
The gift that keeps giving to Dee.
Yeah, it's just forever.
Yeah, really? They're taking out people next to them?
And then, users were buying a $1,450 Peloton bike and paying it off over 39 months. So $45 a month. So that was a big part of their success. But I don't know. Like, I just think the buy now, pay later thing is still like, I understand the incredible offering it is for the consumer, but it's just like, what limitations are they giving a consumer that maybe on a Friday got paid and does like 73 buy now, pay later transactions, and then the third payment comes down and you don't have the money.
Yeah, it's like, buy now, pay 2 of 3 payments later.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that part is the scary part. Like, it's scary for consumers because like, if times get tough and the economy turns sour and unemployment rates go up, like these companies are just not going to let consumers get away with not paying. They're going to fucking ding their credit and go after them.
So how many of these Pelotons that have been sold over the last couple of years aren't even paid for yet?
Great question.
Most of them. Most people bought Peloton during the pandemic and were financing it. Like,
That sucks. Imagine you buy that thing, you realize it sucks. It's sitting in your house, and you're paid off like a tenth of it.
Yeah, they're saying people are paying as low as $45 a month
yeah.
for their Peloton.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, time for Nike to sweep in.
I don't think so. No one's touching this guy.
I don't know. Jeff might be interested. He's a fitness guy. Look at him.
He is a fitness guy, but even he would not sit on a stationary bike with an iPad for an hour.
Maybe there's one on his yacht.
Did you see? The new CEO had like a hands-on meeting on Zoom, and former employees crashed it.
Wow.
Yeah, and said like visibly upset, like the way they were treated, and like
They weren't happy with their free subscription.
They were not happy with their free monthly subscription, and then the activist investor is pushing so aggressively, saying we're not happy with the tone of the company. We want to sell the company. Like they're pressuring them to sell. I just don't think at 10, 11, 12 billion dollars, 15 billion, there's a buyer.
Not that high. You get someone at 2.
2, there's definitely a buyer.
Yeah, 2 billion.
Yeah.
Someone's buying it.
2 billion, just a rich user might buy it.
Sure.
Like
Bill Ackman.
Yeah.
Bill
He's,
Ack-
he's
Yeah,
a
Bill
cyclist.
Ackman,
Yeah,
Bill Ackman is a cyclist.
if he's a cyclist, he probably thinks Peloton's terrible then.
Like he's actually like a performance cyclist. Like does all those
Exactly.
crazy competitions and shit.
He probably
So-
hates it then.
Then he doesn't like it.
So I actually brought this up on the last episode, Drama. I wanted your take.
Yep.
And I was saying like what the CEO and founder of Peloton, like how this all transpired is what fuels the Tims, the AOC Warren crowds, if they actually followed the story.
Yep.
Like he
Bought a
sold
yacht,
hundreds
bought
of
a
millions of dollars worth of stock, bought a yacht, bought like some ridiculous house in the Hamptons,
Yeah.
and fired 2,800 people and has destroyed tens of billions of dollars of shareholder value. And there's zero consequence, zero clawback. And I get the gripe with when something like that happens.
I agree. I'll give him that. Lock that guy up.
Lock them all up.
So, Blake,
Let him take
I'm
the fall.
curious. What do you think? Because I don't know what the right answer is, and I don't want to disincentivize like brilliant entrepreneurs for swinging for the fences. But should there be a clawback when you destroy tens of billions of dollars and you've sold hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would suggest as like a.
Because you're a founder entrepreneur, and so is Dee. And I'm curious, like, where's the line where you're allowed to profit when you
Yeah,
literally
that's
fuck
tough.
the company and all the employees?
Yeah, that's tough. I would have to think for a long time about like what sort of mechanism would be fair. You know, because like, look, let's say the same story, but a different business hit the same stock price. A guy sold a bunch and, you know, got himself some nice toys, but the company continues to do well. That story makes total sense. It's just,
Right.
I don't know if pulling money back feels, I don't know. I'd have to really think about it.
Because the counter to what I'm kind of suggesting is, you know, he sold hundreds of millions of dollars. There was a buyer on the other side. They chose to buy it, right?
Yeah.
Dummy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I see your point, and I think that you're right, and I do think this is bad. I think this is bad for capitalism, but I don't know the mechanism that I would recommend that somehow is like fair to everyone. But I do think this guy, like I think there should be social pressure, meaning like other capitalist lover entrepreneurs shouldn't celebrate this guy. Like this guy should be kicked out of the group. You know what I mean? Like there should be a social pressure not to act this way. But
And you know what's different between like even Adam Newman and this story?
Mm-hmm.
Adam Newman fucked SoftBank over, right? Who cares? He took $1 billion, $2 billion of secondary from SoftBank. SoftBank got fucked.
Yeah.
These are public market investors. This is retail Joe.
401ks.
This is 401ks. These are pension funds. That's why
Because
I think this is
yeah.
different.
yeah, can you like, because I have no idea, like, can you give me a rough guess on what percentage of Peloton stockholders were like retail versus
I mean, most of these stocks are
funds?
majority are funds. I mean, it's definitely the majority. Retail's still like, at the peak of COVID, retail was like 25-30% of all public equities trading, and that clearly has come down since no one's making money in the stock market anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think it's I think you're right. I think it's really bad because people just lump that in with, oh, that's how rich people are, and those are the stories that everyone remembers. Nobody remembers the stories of people that are just holding their stock or donating to charity, or no one thinks about that. They think about these stories because it fits into like that narrative that they love. And it's just a bad look. It's a bummer because there's a lot of people doing really good things, building huge companies, but everyone just sees these stories and says, see, all they want to do is buy houses and yachts and screw everyone else.
He kind of just rubs me the wrong way. Maybe that's why I'm going after him.
What's crazy is there's a lot of people, I saw people defending, like, how are you, everyone bashing on a guy that, you know, built these incredible company and blah, 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 blah. And then someone posted the counters like, everyone had no problem bashing Travis Kalanick.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's because like there was, you know, evidence of him like treating people poorly.
Wait,
you know, when you get into like,
I'm not following
just
that.
say, because the argument is why do we bash a founder that has created this incredible company, still created a lot of value for people? You know, people make mistakes, blah, 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 blah. But then the guy was like, well, no, everyone had no problem piling on Travis Kalanick when you know, he was found to be.
And you can make the argument they were wrong.
Yeah.
Because Dar has destroyed value since he's taken over for Travis.
Yeah.
It's just the difference of like people don't think like if an email leaked of this guy berating employees or covering up, you know, sexual abuse on Pelotons, people would do the same thing they did to Travis. It's because it's tied to such a like human. Travis was painted as like he screamed at people. He was a sociopathic dictator and he purposely covered up deaths and rapes. Like, you know, It was like painted.
Which is like completely insane. Because I know enough people that were close enough to that whole company and founding. And sure, he's crazy, but the way they dragged him, I thought was pretty, like not the right story.
That's the difference. What you need, Dee, for the nail in the coffin is an email leak of him, you know, berating your average person. Then it's over.
We have a text leak of him shitting on D.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
that's a good
so
one.
Good.
Maybe I should leak it.
You should. You should say, hey, at the
shitting
time,
down minority entrepreneurs.
Yep. You're just a struggling minority entrepreneur.
Just a struggling dark man trying to make it in America. Just getting shit on by billionaires.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, next up, Forbes. Forbes is SPACing it up.
Forbes is SPACing it up. I think the more interesting thing about Forbes is that they just got a new investor, and
the future of Forbes. I like this though. You don't like it?
I think it's a little fishy.
Huh. I like it. I think we take Forbes into the new world of Web3.
Binance, the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, is making a $200 million investment into Forbes, and it's going into a SPAC, and Binance will be, I think, the second biggest shareholder. I'm really curious what Binance, Forbes, whether we like it or not, is a very powerful force in media, business media particularly, especially with young people.
People worship. Like, it's gospel for young people.
Yeah, if you're on that list, if you're on the, you know,
if you're on the list, you're probably not that successful.
If you're one of the,
well, you're too worried about getting on the damn list.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of successful people on the list. I think the problem is that
there's a lot of phonies.
The problem the problem is that when it first started, it was 30 under 30. It was 30 people total. There are 30 magnificent people under the age of 30. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, but then pimped it out.
One day, I remember going on it maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, I want to see who the 30 are 30. There's 30-30 for arts, 30-30 for crypto, 30-30 for flowers, 30-30 for basketball, 30-30 for grocery stores. I mean...
30 under 30 Instacart groceries.
30 for 30 deliveries. I mean, it's just like, I mean, There's just too many lists. There's not.
Well,
There's not.
it was pay to play, right? We know why there's so many lists.
But don't you think that's their most valuable thing? And
it's so valuable.
You think young people really still care about that?
Yes, I think if you're 24 years old, it's so fucking. It's listed on everyone who's on their fucking bio. It matters. You're old, so no one cares what you think.
Yeah.
40 under 40.
You're that thing's wrapping up for you too.
Better hurry up.
There's no list. I'm gonna do a list for 80 under 80.
Yeah, you might as well. I mean, you might as well do 100 under 100. You might as well say, fuck it, here's some cool people. Anyone got any money they want to pay me to get on this list? It's just like, that was your most valuable. It's literally like saying the Super Bowl this year is going to be 6 teams. They're all going to play. Like
everybody wins.
Miami paid us a lot to get in. Like, it's so silly, man. They had such a valuable thing. But whatever. The point is, the brand does still matter very much. And this guy... this Binance guy is, huge Web3 crypto guy.
CZ.
He likes to be called CZ. So what? I mean, do you think Forbes takes like a crypto turn, or do you think?
Yeah, they're already pretty actively talking about crypto every day. Like whenever I go on their site, there's a lot of Web3 conversations. So they clearly, I'm sure Binance realizes their influence. It's just when these big companies get into the media business, there's always, it was like when Jeff Bezos bought Washington Post. They're like, what's the real hidden agenda here? Like, what are you trying to do? Yeah.
And this is interesting because CZ actually has for a guy that's worth over 100 billion, he's kind of been on the run.
Yeah.
So he originally was from China, which is where he created Binance. Left to Singapore to domicile the company there. China definitely has influence over Singapore. And now he's magically based in Dubai, and they've given him full kind of citizenship or whatever the equivalent is for a foreign person, that they're protecting him. And now Binance is based there.
Wow. That seems fucking crazy.
Imagine being worth that much money and you're effectively on the run.
It's crazy.
I mean, I feel like working remote is hard. Imagine running from governments and trying to build a company.
I like that, once you're worth 100 billion, you could just be called CZ.
Yeah, that's cool. I think he knows. His name's hard to pronounce. He knows he's trying to. He's obviously
just trying to assimilate.
Forbes. He's just trying to yo, I'm cool too.
So now will Dubai have influence over Forbes?
Maybe that's what it is.
They're protecting him.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Well, we'll see, but SPACs.
So the next 30 under 30 is all people from Dubai.
That'd be incredible.
Mohammed Al Sheikh. Mohammed.
That'd be incredible. That's a good. I don't know. Maybe it's pushing the boundaries, but that'd be a funny Instagram Photoshop. Forbes 30 under 30 in 2023. Okay, well, we'll see what happens, but interesting move.
Yep.
Web3 for the Forbes. Okay, let's get into some fun stuff. Snoop Dogg, who's about to have a really big weekend at the Super Bowl, is the proud new owner of Death Row Records.
30 years ago, if you had told me I'd be reading this quote, it'd be I wouldn't believe you. We at Blackstone are strong supporters of the artist and creator community in our entertainment investments. We are excited to put the Death Row Records brand back in the hands of a legend like Snoop Dogg. We wish him success in the years ahead as the brand moves forward under his leadership and vision. Blackstone, Snoop Dogg, Death Row. That is the collab.
And Blackstone. Here's the other thing.
Steve Schwartzman. Let's take it to the top. Steve Schwartzman, Snoop Dogg, Death Row Records.
And if anything, if you had to imagine this in your wildest dreams, I would imagine that you would think maybe Suge died and Snoop Dogg is selling Death Row to Blackstone. But instead, Steve Schwartzman is selling Death Row to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, basically, I think Blackstone owned the asset or bought the asset. I think they may have owned it through something else.
They just own everything?
Yes.
Yeah, they own it. Real estate,
they own everything.
rap.
I've seen Joe Rogan conspiracy videos about who's canceling him, and it all leads back to Blackstone is the one doing it.
Steve Schwartzman's MAGA. He was on Trump's committee.
Yeah, well, they said that I think the tie there, I don't believe this, but the tie there was that I think that the fund that Neil Young sold his rights to is under the Blackstone umbrella in some way. Or is that wrong?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the rumor
Conspiracies.
I heard. I heard Jeff Bezos is also behind it. So don't worry, I'll have it all figured out next week. But anyway, so, I mean, but big win for Snoop Dogg. And who knows how much he bought it for, but I have to believe there's some value here.
I'd be shocked if he put up $1. I think
Someone must have backed him, right?
Blackstone.
No, didn't he buy it from Blackstone?
I think it's like a
Maybe that's the
partnership.
press. That's a good angle. That's a good marketing. You know, if you're saying like, wow, Snoop Dogg took it back. He's in charge of it now.
Yeah, maybe he's technically the CEO of it, but I don't know. Blackstone feels like they still have their hand in it. They have had their hand in everyone's pocket.
Yeah, it does seem like they own the entire, country.
I mean, good for Snoop. If he can, make some money with Blackstone footing the bill, good for him.
And if you could sign a couple artists, obviously that IP, that logo, you can license that thing to streetwear companies for the next 2 decades, no matter what happens. And you could make some money off of that.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. Yo Gotti has a really creative, I would say it's like a marketing strategy, but also, I don't know, give back. He has a new album. The album's called CM10, right?
Yep.
Okay. New album called CM10. And he is saying, like, hey, to my followers, to my fans, here is a song. I need someone to put a verse on it. Any unsigned artist that puts a verse on this song that I like, I will use it and give you the song. You'll own the masters to the song. So it's really a chance for someone, up and coming to own their first master and also get, featured in a really big way. This is great.
I mean, he's basically saying, do whatever you want with it, do with it. You want to put it on YouTube, you want to put it on Apple, Spotify, I don't care. It's my gift to you. And what happens? Everyone's recording their verse with him on it. Yeah. And it's picking up steam as a song. It's genius. It's actually how, it's rap always leads the way in terms of like new business models. Yeah. And this to me is just like, I saw this and I was like, holy shit, this is so clever. Because why not? Why not let all your fans participate? And now they're all going to be recording to his song. How many tens of thousands of kids are going to go record and then release the song and say, I got a record with Yo Gotti? Why not? That's dope.
He's smart, man. He's really smart. I don't know the exact business behind it, but I know he does really, really well. He's one of those guys that isn't like super duper mainstream, but does really well. I think he's independent and just does really well. So obviously a really smart guy.
Yeah, it feels like something in today's age Nipsey Hussle would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay. Well, props to him. You guys want to talk about inflation before we move on to winners, losers content?
Yep.
All-time high.
We're inflated.
Yeah, the news is we are indeed inflated. So transitory wasn't a thing. What's going on? Anand, do you still believe in your I really liked your
I could be dead wrong.
I really was holding on to that.
So these are the numbers the Consumer Price Index reflect for January. So maybe there's a lag, and my prediction could be right in like 3 or 4 months. But it seems like January prices were off the charts.
7.5% increase.
What was December? Do you remember?
7%.
Yeah. So it's picking up steam.
Great. That's just great.
And I think the real kicker was when you count there was obviously some wage inflation that happened this past 2 years, but because of the inflation, when you call real hourly earnings, which is wage growth minus inflation, fell by 1.7% in January. So that's bad.
Did you remember last month Biden got caught in a hot mic like inflation's great, you stupid son of a bitch, to a reporter?
Yeah, hotline.
Inflation.
I think he said, "What a stupid son of a bitch."
Inflation only hurts poor people.
Yeah,
because they don't know the assets that are actually inflating.
Yeah.
like the stock market's inflated, real estate's inflated, high-end watches inflated.
Yeah.
And middle class and poor people, specifically minorities, are the ones that get crushed when milk is $5.50 instead of $2.50.
Yeah.
Right? And peanut butter is like triple, and all these things are more expensive, and gas is triple. And inflation is like, it's just predatory against non-wealthy people. And I don't get how Biden doesn't understand that.
It's crazy. So it's saying here, average U.S. household is spending an additional $276 a month because of inflation.
And wages haven't gone up at the same pace.
That's insane. $276 a month.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, thank God Build Back Better didn't pass.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Like the fact that Joe Manchin
yeah, exactly.
held that up.
He might be a
imagine
hero.
if we were just dumping trillions more dollars, whatever it was. How much was it? Do you remember?
I think it was like 1.4 trillion.
They were originally it was
top of
bigger.
this.
Yeah.
God, that would have been insane. Joe Manchin really stuck his neck out there.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I mean?
I mean, if you think about inflation, if wage growth isn't happening, all the prices got inflated, it should correct pretty quickly. That's kind of my view.
But
if
but
people
it
can't afford it, they're not going to spend it, and prices come down.
So you're saying demand will cause...
Yeah, there'll be less demand.
Yeah.
You're less likely to go out to eat. You're less likely to buy that extra TV. You're less likely to do all this stuff if you just don't have the money to do it.
The problem is American families are sitting on record cash.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but this should correct pretty quickly because wage inflation isn't happening. So,
but in order for it to correct, oil prices need to come down. There's a potential conflict happening with Russia and Ukraine. So oil prices are ridiculous right now. Freight prices are not coming down. Okay, that's two huge things.
I saw
Cars.
I saw the CEO of, I can't even pronounce it. It's the biggest shipping company in the world, Maersk, Maersk.
Yeah.
They said the supply chain clog should be done in a few months. Because I think they're projecting demand to fall off.
So
supply chain, and I said this on the last episode, I think the biggest problem with supply chain was that Americans had too much money and were just buying too much shit.
Yeah.
So demand was just crazy, and we couldn't produce as quickly on top of the COVID, on top of everything. But there was a clear increase in demand by like 20, 30% on durable goods that, in theory, should not be there now if people don't have money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. This one's a mystery. This one is really one of those, like, anyone you talk to or listen to or talk to, like, has a different take, you know? Like, it's
I had a good rant, though, a few episodes ago.
No, you did. I think, I'm hoping that ages well. I think it might. And then you could do the throwback, like, oh, I've been saying this, you know, like the David Sachs thing.
He was actually right on the Biden bills. He was screaming from the mountaintop about how this is going to affect inflation.
I mean, imagine if we literally were like just now cutting that check and the numbers of 7.5 were coming in.
Yeah, then, yeah.
That'd be bad.
Nuts. Okay.
All right, everybody. We've got a special interview. My friend Lynn Dye is in town for the Super Bowl. He is the CEO and founder of OneOf, a NFT platform that artists, labels, and athletes are using. He was on the pod a few months back, but he so happened to be in town, so I dragged him in here. And we talked crypto, talked NFTs, and it was a great conversation. So we're going to jump right into that and then do winners, losers content. A friend of mine was stopping by in town for the Super Bowl. He was on the pod maybe a few months back, right?
Yeah.
We have Lynn Dye here, CEO of OneOf, an NFT platform that are NFTs still popping? What's going on with NFTs?
You know, crypto's back.
Crypto's back, right?
It's February.
The winter, the crypto winter in January was it? That was a short winter.
Yeah, it was a short winter.
Global warming. It got hot again.
So, you know, before we jump into kind of some of your big announcements, we were talking at lunch just now. You made a comment that, like, you know, core crypto people didn't think that correction was big enough.
Yeah, you know,
The correction from
January.
67 to kind of 37
Oh yeah,
36.
just in general.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's a kind of almost a perfect kind of 50% retracement, right? So, but crypto, when it corrects, you know, if you've been through at least like 2+ years, it's kind of a 70%
Yeah.
retracement.
I've
so-
lost 90% 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 70 up to 90%. Until that happens, like, I think the OG guys are kind of like,
Skeptical.
Yeah, it's like a nice little correction, but it, you know, like you haven't felt the newbies haven't felt the pain yet.
So then, what would cause the pain now? Like, why would it correct? You know, because there's clearly buyers, right? It corrected, and all of a sudden, everyone came back into it because there's institutional money and there's.
Yeah, you know, it's still, you know, general crypto is still very speculative, right? So, you know, I think there's a lot of leverage out there. There's a lot of kind of new like retail money pouring in that don't know what they're doing, and the institutional guys are smart, right? So at some point, when you know the general market, I mean, it's like crypto right now is doesn't trade the opposite of the general market. When the, you know, like when institutions are de-risking, they're de-risking everything,
Everywhere.
right?
Yeah.
So if like, you know, if NASDAQ takes a huge hit for whatever reason, if like Russia invades Ukraine, you know, there's just like outside events that could trigger general market like big correction, and then like institutions going to pull their money out of crypto temporarily, and you know all the margin calls for all the little guys that is basically like, you know, 10x leveraging on some shit coin they don't even know what it does, right? So,
I think that's like the biggest misconception from mainstream media, and they don't realize like as crypto matures, when you have these big institutions, it's going to trade the market. So big institutions, flight for safety, which is cash when things are shitty, like March of 2020, like the last 30 days, and when they feel like the correction is large enough, they get back in. And I know the ethos of crypto is this like hedge against the Fed, hedge against central governments. But when you have big institutions that are the buyers, you're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. The only way it's supported is institutions. So institutions are going to trade like institutions.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the ethos of the asset is. They're going to go in and out, similar to how they go in and out of growth stocks, similar to how they go in and out of like Netflix in the last like 30 days.
yeah, I mean, if you just look at like how SoftBank traded in the last like 6 quarters, right? Like how much they like kind of bet on one side, then bet on the other side. It's like very fast moves, right? And in billions of dollars. So Sequoia and SoftBank just put $450 million in Matic Polygon. So that basically drove Matic price for the last few days, but like, you know, the opposite could be true, right? So
what's your view on that? Because that's where with Solana I really had a bone to pick, that it was all insiders who made all the money, and now you have Sequoia backing Polygon, and this is before we even know what they're like. They're supposed to be the scaling Ethereum like level 2, right? And I don't know, that's what I'm confused on, that the market is like not realizing what's going on.
yeah, well, I mean, the institutions when they're writing a $450 million check, they're not buying that at the market, right? They're not buying it at that price. It's a discounted price with a lot of sweeteners, right? And
Sequoia probably made $1 billion on that trade.
Probably.
Yeah, just on that announcement.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, and they're late to the party, right? Mm-hmm. They're just basically like, well, everybody else is making like that kind of money. Like we got to pick a project to back.
Yeah. So. And so in your world, do things feel like they slowed down a little bit, or still off to the races?
Yeah, you know, I think in NFT world in general, it's very early, right? You know, I think specifically, you know, we're known for music NFT. We just announced sports NFT, but also in music, there were some really exciting kind of trends and news happening in January. That's not even our own project. Like Nas did his like music royalty, so that's like getting everybody very excited. So the conversations we're having with record labels and artists are like very hot right now. Everybody want to do this.
And so you guys announced a deal with Warner Music. What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's literally the first deal I worked on. So 2 years ago, January 2020, I went to CEO of Warner Music. I was like, I had this idea to do NFT for the music industry. And he was like, go build something, and we'll see if our team is interested. And then COVID hit and we went out and built a technology. I called up my partners, we formed a company. And then basically January 2021, I called him again and I was like, it's ready, right?
Yeah.
It's better NFT technology, platform technology than anything else out there. It's built for like everyday consumer. The regular fan don't need to understand how to open a MetaMask wallet to do this. And he's like very excited. He's like, we're gonna do a deal with you. Go work with my team. So a year later,
wow.
And you don't even want to know what my legal bill was. We negotiated this label-wide deal with Warner Music Group. So like the big guys, the industry is very, very much embracing NFT as the next wave of like where music monetization should be.
So in the projects that you're talking about with Warner, will we be able to buy an NFT and actually participate in the royalties of the artist?
Yeah, we're gonna do everything from like there's some project that's gonna be collectibles, right? So and there's gonna be some project that's gonna more and more hopefully that will be actually involve owning a piece of the royalty. The one thing that most music NFT project up to now couldn't do is like there's not a lot of music actually with music NFT, right? So like, so just because usually the music rights, the master rights are controlled by labels. Yeah. So you could take two positions of it, like that basically like you can say like down with the labels, we're Web3, or you can say like hey like. Maybe there's a way that everybody can, leverage this technology and get a more fair distribution, right? Fair split for the artists, for the label. So we're kind of the platform that works with, super artist friendly, but also, we work with other rights holders in your life, right? Yeah. If you sign away your music rights to a label, we'll work with your label to make sure we can still do, NFTs around your music that generates the artist a very significant like earning potential, right? So,
and then that's interesting because music industry is one of those industries that hasn't really let a lot of people participate in the upside. I mean, in most cases, the artist doesn't even participate in the upside,
especially with those 365 deals, right?
Yeah, and so I think we're trying to see. What does this new world look like? Because even on Nas's project that he dropped, NFT project where he made a substantially probably more money. It's basically a very aggressive advance. Yeah,
it's very aggressive, right? Because if you think about, I think the calculation is like Nas had to stream, his song had to stream 37 million streams in order for the buyers of his song royalty to break even. Yeah. And like, I'm New York 20 years. I love Nas. I probably don't care how much it is. If I could have minted one, like I definitely like wasn't fast enough on my bot wasn't fast enough to get that right. Done. Like the guys with the bots got it. But I think that's like a really good like eye-opening experiment for a lot of other artists. It's just how to do that.
Because any artist that has like a core fan base, they're gonna want to own a piece of it. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but like, the music rights, like a lot of music rights are controlled by the label. Also, doing royalty is like a security offering in the US. So it's very tricky, right? So a lot of artists couldn't just like, is not as like kind of like risk taking as Nas to jumping into it. But also if you think about like it's really, you guys understand this, like the labels are up to now really functioning as two functions. One is like marketing, they're like really good at marketing, which they'll continue to be good at. The other function is like they're VCs. They pick like 10 artists. Yeah. They write everybody a $5 million check. They don't know if any of the $5 million going to return. Sure. Yeah. So they basically like, well, you have to give me 85% of the economics because I'm going to lose money on 9 of these artists.
Yeah, probably more.
Like, probably more. So they actually don't want to do that, right? Like I had a conversation with like senior people. They're just like, it's not as good of a science as you think and they're like, there's a lot of kind of like,
well, and it's inherent risk
Yeah.
because you're investing in a person, literally one person.
So if you think about if there is a legal compliant way to make that offering to say like the fans invest in the project,
Yeah.
and label don't have to take the
Any
financial risk,
Yeah.
I think they don't need to be as aggressive at asking, they can take like a third for like doing just a really good job marketing and not putting capital at risk.
Yeah. Wow. That's an incredible business model for them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, and it's also that's why I don't have as much sympathy for the artist crying wolf like 10 years later when you become like Taylor Swift or whoever. Like, you signed that deal. No one forced you to sign that deal.
Yeah. But really for the last 20, 30, 40 years, that's the only option to advance your career, right? You have to collateralize your next 10 years of your career, your next 6 albums in order to really, get paid to focus on your art, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think...
But isn't that just like supply and demand? Like if you have an artist that's so hot that like every label is competing, if they say 6 albums, don't you just go down the street and say, I'll give you 3 albums?
But you don't have to do that at all.
No, I'm saying now you don't. I'm just
Yeah.
saying back then. That's why I think it's like sour grapes, the way artists complain.
I mean, nobody can cry victim better than the most successful artist.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. And then lastly, there's an article that just came out on Wired talking about some of OpenSea's challenge, and a lot of it being a lot of copycat projects. Like if you go search Board Ape Yacht Club, there's like 6,000 other things that kind of mimic it, and if you don't know what you're buying, you're getting basically scammed.
yeah, it's a huge issue, right? Because OpenSea isn't really set up to patrol copyrights, or and they probably need to if they want to go public.
It is, their name is OpenSea. In the open sea, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary.
The
When you
open
go
sea is
jump in
scary.
the ocean
Knockoffs.
in the middle of
I didn't know Ocean's the scariest place on earth.
I mean, we announced we're like the official NFT partner for the Grammys, right? And then we announced we're the official NFT partner for Sports Illustrated for like Muhammad Ali and like Wayne Gretzky and like Jerry Rice, all of that. Like, there's immediately the same day we made the announcement, there are knockoff NFTs for like the Grammys for all these like athletes on OpenSea.
Wow.
Right, using our name, our partner's name.
What are they doing over there?
So we had to basically be like, yo, OpenSea, you gotta take this down. This
Yeah.
is like, that's like just scamming unsuspected people, right? People see a headline and they're like going to OpenSea. It is the largest kind of marketplace.
In the history of scamming, right? Like, there's obviously scamming. I'm sure when the first bank opened, there's a bunch of people who are like, "Oh, this is a great place to scam people." Like, there's always, anytime there's anything new, early internet, ton of scams. This scamming just feels like it's on another level. Web3 scamming. Web3 scamming might be bigger than Web3.
I'm indirectly an investor of OpenSea through a fund, and I think OpenSea is an unmitigated disaster with the fakes, the fake apes, the way they people were able just to steal apes for the transaction they posted, when apes first started for like 0.2 ETH, and now they're worth 100. I don't know what's going on over there.
It's, I think just because it's irreversible, right? Like the transactions, if you basically like, if you put up something real quick, like you put up some fake Grammy NFTs and somebody, got duped into like, got excited reading our press release and went and bought something for like 0.2 ETH or 1 ETH. Yeah. You can't get it back. You can't complain to OpenSea. OpenSea will be like, sorry.
That's why I think Coinbase is going to mop the floor with OpenSea when they get their NFT platform, because they're actually going to have the regulation, the security, the like knowing what the IP actually is, knowing what you're buying, because they've been in the game for 11 years now and they have $6.5 billion in cash.
You need people to list the projects there, right? Like,
sure, and they've already partnered with Bobby Hundreds. Yeah, I think they partnered with Gary Vee. Yeah, they were like the influencers 4 months ago. We saw them do videos with. Yeah, so I mean, I think they're going to get it done because I don't think the masses can handle OpenSea.
Yeah, I mean, we're super friendly with Coinbase. We launched our platform with the chief product officer at Coinbase that is now in charge of Coinbase NFT. So. Not going to spill any beans on anything we're doing with them, but I think OpenSea is like the epitome of like kind of first wave of early adopter NFT who are technologists, right, who understands this. There is kind of this new wave of like platforms like OneOf.com and Coinbase, and that is basically built for a more hybrid Web 2.5 situation, right? So you basically like you can like if your account get hacked on OneOf, like we can do something about it. Right?
Yeah,
So,
OpenSea for NFTs. I think the right analogy, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm going to say it anyways. They're MySpace. You need the book. You need Facebook to come in. That's Coinbase.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, and so, like Facebook is going to jump in the NFT game any day now, any day.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I think you're right, and I think we'll see a lot more changes come, and I think we will see some of these in order for like truly retail people to come in and major institutions, they got to feel safe with it. But that's good, man. Excited for what you guys are building. Excited for the Grammys, and if people want to check out projects, it's all on oneof.com, right?
Yeah, you can go to oneof.com. We have a music part and we have a sports part. I know you're a big college sports fan, which is talking about there's all these legendary athletes, and Duke basketball is coming soon. So
Wow.
yeah.
Again, Paolo, he's the star.
I'm not allowed to tell details until the official press release come out. But
with NIL, they're all allowed to do it, right? Because athletes are allowed to do these
absolutely,
deals. Yeah,
absolutely. Now there's
big.
like, and I think in sports up to this point, I was talking to you earlier. I think the biggest deals are league-wide deals that actually doesn't benefit the athletes that much, anyways. So there's a lot of opportunities for athletes to, I think we're going to see a lot more athletes doing their own projects, and we're kind of a artist first, athlete first platform. So.
Amazing. Well, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Who's winning? Give us a score.
I got to cheer for the Rams, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm at the pod. So.
Yeah, you can't be cheering for
Are we
Cincinnati.
giving our picks?
At the end, we'll give our picks.
Okay.
What's your pick? Give us a score.
21-17.
Right.
Wow, low scoring. The under.
Yeah.
So if you
like the under.
you like the under.
All right, man. Great seeing you, and thanks for stopping by.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Perfect.
Cool.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay, Dee, who is your winner for the last week?
Well, my winner, like I predicted 2 weeks ago when I said the Rams were going to beat the shit out of the Niners, and that happened. The Rams are the winner this week because they're going to be the Super Bowl champs.
Hooday!
Sunday, 7 p.m. And the MVP of the Super Bowl will be Cooper Kupp.
Joe Burrow.
Wow. I think Kupp's getting it.
I think Cooper Kupp is going to...
That means he needs to have all the touchdowns.
I think
because if Stafford splits up the touchdowns, then it's going to Stafford.
That's who I'm picking Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
Okay, well, let me just cut in line because I'm going to go Bengals are the winner and Joe Burrow is the MVP.
Okay.
Hooday, I am rolling with drama. The Cincinnati Bengals are coming to Los Angeles, and they're sending the Rams packing.
Where are they packing to? They live here.
Yeah, they're packing a couple.
They're not packing anywhere. They're gonna drive. They're gonna drive home.
They're packing to their after party.
Yeah,
I think.
and go to Bootsy.
I think Matt Stafford has so much pressure on him. And ice cold Joe Burrow. Yeah. This guy's just got ice water in his veins. He's showing up, no pressure. I think he's 24
he's throwing a pick six in the first quarter. Jalen Ramsey to the house.
His demeanor is
MVP.
just so fun to root for. The way he just kind of does his interviews. And
I loved
everything.
him in college.
I'm telling you, when I got off the plane at LAX to move here, and I had my bag, in my head, I was picturing
Joe Burrow.
Like with the chain and the fur coat and the Cartiers. That's what I thought I looked like. Now, if we went back and looked at that is not what I looked like. But in my head, that was me.
That's amazing.
So I get it. Athens, Ohio. Big winners.
All right.
What about
real quick breaking news. Kanye West says he will not perform at Coachella unless Billie Eilish apologized to his friend Travis Scott for something she didn't do.
Well, she did.
Didn't she kind of jab him?
It was like a hint, but she didn't say his name.
Well,
And I think it was pretty understood.
Yeah,
TMZ
you
even
got to
reported.
apologize.
So Kanye's holding up Coachella hostage.
What do you think? Like, do you think Kanye? Like, I feel, and I don't wish bad actually on anyone, but I feel like we're headed for like a Kanye like breakdown. You know, like not injury or serious medical harm, but like it feels a little crazy.
Who's Julian Schwartz? He just posted a comment from someone named Julian Schwartz. Man's off the meds.
No, it's just a random person.
It's a random person.
He's just commenting that.
So he's like getting sensitive about the comments. You're the most famous person on the planet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think? Doesn't it feel a little dangerous?
But by the way, can you imagine this poor guy's DMs right now?
Oh yeah, the Yay mob. Do they?
Julian Schwartz is
Poor
not, probably going to be able to get off Instagram tomorrow.
Yeah, poor Julian. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels, I hope everything's okay, but it feels
It feels
a little
tenuous.
wild. Yeah.
It feels tenuous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Losers. Who's all of our Dee, who's your loser?
It's the Bengals.
Wow.
They're a bunch of losers. They're coming to. They have to fly all the way out here. Beautiful weather. They're going to see the sights. They're going to see the stars. And they're going to get their ass
see a
kicked.
trophy.
I want to add one more winner, H-Wood. They've completely dominated Super Bowl.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
They've had events, I think, since Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's literally the most famous people
At all their
at
events.
every single event.
Yeah.
Congrats to Brian and John. They must be making a shit ton of money this
A
week.
lot of money.
Yeah. Good for them. Yeah, they're definitely big winners. Okay, so we're skipping Dee. Anand, who's your loser?
So my loser, I don't know if you guys have followed the NBA trade deadline at all. It was today, and the story, I think everyone knows, even if you don't follow sports, how Ben Simmons just didn't play. Just was like, I'm not playing. He ultimately got traded to the 70s, to the Brooklyn Nets for James Harden.
Got it.
And then I saw a rant from Stephen A. Smith, who is probably one of the biggest insiders in the NBA, saying that the collective bargaining agreements coming up for the NBA for the players, that's the players and owners agree on all these terms. It's coming up, I think, in a year or two.
Yeah.
And he said, let me tell you, this is going to be must-see TV. The owners are sick of the players and the way they're like conducting. And he's clearly an insider. And he's like, players aren't honoring their contracts. They're forcing their way out of teams. We've seen this like now numerous times from the biggest stars in the NBA. And he's like, the owners are done. They're not going to put up with this shit anymore. And I think the players better, they're going to have to figure out a new mode of business.
This is going to be fun. Because don't you feel like the players are like more empowered than ever?
Yeah,
Or
at least they
feel like
believe
it.
they believe they are. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Ben Simmons. He didn't show up for 3 months and got his wish.
That's crazy.
Dude. Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay.
So I
lots to
think
talk
that's going to
about.
be fun to watch. Yep.
Okay.
My loser. You want to know what my loser is? My loser is like the fact that we still have like mask mandates and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, like it just feels like what the like. I don't know. I'm no scientist, but from what I see, Florida and like Texas and like their data, even through Omicron, was the same as ours. And it just feels like I get if you have to be like, okay, Omicron surging, we got to tighten up for a month. I'm with you. Let's do that. But here we are now. Cases are plummeting. Omicron proved to not be as brutal. And I don't know. The other day, I walked into a store or whatever, and I forgot my mask, and so I had to run back and get it. And I'm just like, why does anyone even?
Yeah.
Why do we still care? But the rumor is, I think this is also a David Sachs thing that I saw is that like in Biden's State of the Union in early March or even sooner in some states, but there's going to be a bit of a like release, like we
won.
we did it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mask mandates should be gone.
I mean,
Especially for kids. It makes me so angry. Kids are wearing masks at school.
you want to know who's a loser is the I'm blanking, not Gavin Newsom, but the mayor.
Garcetti?
Did you see
Hold
his
my
holding
breath?
your breath thing?
Yeah.
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 It's like you expect people to believe you?
He's gonna hold his breath all weekend at the Super Bowl. He's at the hold breath for 6 hours.
He started holding it right now, and he'll start breathing again on Monday.
Whose box is he going to be in? Garcetti and Newsom.
Magic.
Magic.
You think
No one else is gonna let them in the box.
Yeah, they were probably setting up the Super Bowl box at whatever that was.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, you really expect, like, people are so upset, and you expect people to believe that?
Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy. Anyway, content, D.
Yeah.
Is this a stupid question?
Well, there's a new Hulu show that I got to watch the first episode. Pam and Tommy. Pamela
I
Anderson,
watched it
Tommy.
too.
I mean,
watched it too.
it's
Not bad.
It's not bad. It's a little dark. Tommy Lee's not a good guy.
Nah, I love Speedos.
Yeah, I love
G-strings.
Speedos. G-strings. It was a little more graphic than I was expecting
Yeah,
the
a lot
show
of
to be.
cheeks. A lot of man cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was surprised, to be honest. I thought it was going to be like horrendous. I'm going to keep watching it.
Yeah, I watched the first episode. It hooked me in.
There's no way a young person today knows who either of those two are, right?
Of course they do.
They're probably like, oh, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox look different here.
Yeah. But they know, like, they're going to watch it. It's because
I think it's for people our age.
it's definitely for old people.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
I think they're like
But-
legendary. Like I watched a weird documentary about Frank Sinatra the other day, and that's way before my time. I feel like
I've seen Pamela Anderson Baywatch T-shirts in PacSun.
yeah,
Really?
Yes, last summer.
it's legendary. But Hulu also has a Elizabeth Holmes show coming out. I saw, and there's a
Oh,
Travis
wow.
Kalanick show coming out on Showtime.
Wow.
Who's starring? Who's Travis?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Wow.
Wow, that's good.
That's his name.
That's
right?
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, I'm just curious how he's going to be portrayed because, like, of what we just said. Like, you
That's
can't really-
crazy. He was Edward Snowden and he's
Yeah, it's true. He's the tech guy.
Travis
huh?
Kalanick.
Yeah, you can't really tell from the trailer. They obviously make him look, a little nutty, but like, I'm curious how bad he's going to get it.
I think pretty bad. People, it's a better story to sell if you make him look like a piece of shit, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, Alan, what do you got?
Obviously, other than the Super Bowl, I don't know if I mentioned this podcast, but I finally finished it. It's been a while that I just kind of went on and off. Michael Ovitz was on the Acquired podcast. Oh. So Acquired is like a podcast that just does like storytelling. And it was Michael Ovitz's like journey from, when he started in the mailroom to today. And it's just like, man, some guys are just like, just want it so badly. Like, this guy's still grinding out meetings with like 24-year-old founders, and he has an ungodly amount of money. And he's like transitioned to being like a tech investor. And I've heard so many stories where he's just like relentless about getting into like an early stage deal when you're worth like billions of dollars. And I'm like, man, you're just built differently than the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's even.
Just
like,
if I was Michael Ovitz, I would not care to talk about some 24-year-old fintech credit card company.
Because imagine all the bullshit, like, that you got to sift through.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
But
good for
he's
him.
grinding. He's literally grinding, and he's
How old
got to
is he?
be. It's got to be late 60s, right?
Yeah, I was
Ovitz?
going to guess
Probably.
low 70s. So you're
Yeah,
probably-
maybe early 70s. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
I got to
But
listen to
it's
that. That's
it's
right.
a
I
good.
read his
It's a
book.
really good episode. It's a really good episode.
Yeah, he had a book that I read that I really liked. I'll listen to it. What do I have? Netflix, The
Okay.
Tinder Swindler,
Oh, I heard about that. What is that exactly?
Blockbuster. It
Okay.
is Blockbuster. And D, I think right up your alley. I think I finally found one that we both like. Like, there's no violence.
Yeah. I like it.
It's about a guy. Let me do this without blowing it. It's about a gentleman who meets women on Tinder and takes
Swindles them.
advantage of them,
Okay.
but not in like a sexual way. So it's not dark,
Okay. I like it.
but it is
taking
great.
advantage what in like a business way?
Financial way.
Like stealing money and shit.
Yeah, but it is so. It's not only is it just like it's not funny because these people were stolen from. But like, it's borderline funny. Like, meaning like, there's a lot of people. I'll wait till you guys watch it to blow.
Okay.
But there's a lot of people that are like supporting the guy, like now that it's come out, which is really funny. And it's also just edited really, really well. Like the whole time you're like, wait, what? Like, what is going to happen? Like, what could possibly, like, what could this be? And then you get the whole thing. So it was incredibly done. Great story of our modern times and dating apps.
All right. I'm excited.
Okay. There it is. Super Bowl time. What are we doing? Obviously, you guys are going to be.
Yeah, we got to record Monday.
We're recording Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see you Monday.
Who day gonna record on Sunday?
Yeah.
Nobody.
No. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so we will see you guys next week. Everyone enjoy the Super Bowl and go Bengals. I don't really know what else to say.
Go Rams.
Boo.